As one homeschool year ends and the summer begins, it's time to start thinking about your next homeschooling year. Today's video, I want to share with you some tips on how to plan for your upcoming homeschool year. Hey guys, it's Bonnie from Mrs. Mom's Homeschool and welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, I make videos to help you on your homeschooling and motherhood journey. I've been homeschooling since 2012 and I have 3 children, but one of my children is out of homeschool. As of high school, she wanted to go to a traditional high school and she's actually loving it and thriving in it. And then so I'm homeschooling my last 2 children all the way through though this time. Whether you're new to homeschooling or you just want to do things a lot differently, I'm going to give you some things to think about when planning your homeschool year. So the first thing I always advise people is to discover your vision for your homeschool. So this is, what would you, if you could say, if you had a genie lamp and you rubbed that genie and you said, I wish my homeschool looked like this, what would that vision be? That is going to describe why you're homeschooling, what it looks like on a day-to-day basis, why it's important to you. What are the things your kids need? Do they need social interaction? Do they have weaknesses in a certain area? Do they have strengths in a certain area that you want to work on more? Is there a certain lifestyle you want to live? This is your time to just have fun and create your perfect homeschool. Now this is just a vision, obviously, but that's where you're going to start, is with your vision. Now, obviously, your vision is not going to come 100% true because you're dealing with other people other than yourself who don't share your vision, or they are children and they just really don't care what your vision and your plan is for them. They're going to just give you a hard time anyway. But the point is, when you have your vision, you have your goals, you have your reasons why you want to homeschool, you're able to tweak a lot of things to get as close to there as possible. Step 2, when you're planning your upcoming homeschool year, you need to think about, if you're a new homeschooler, why did you pull your kids out of school in the first place? What is it that you want for them? What is it that you didn't like in the school system that you pulled them out? And now if you are a seasoned homeschooler, you've been doing this for a while, or even if it's just like your first or second year, think about what you liked and didn't like last year, what worked and what didn't work. Keep the things that did work and tweak the things that didn't work. Are there curriculum choices you need to change? Are there subjects your kids are crying and fussing over? Are there some things your kids really need help on to work on? Maybe you have a great reader but a horrible writer. Maybe you want to focus a whole year on writing for that one child. Maybe your kids are really introverted. They don't have any friends, or they need some help socializing. Maybe you want to put a big emphasis this year on helping your kid to make friends. How can you do that? You can join homeschool co-ops. You can go to every single thing that the homeschool co-op offers. That's what we did when we were looking for friends in the homeschool community. We went with the one homeschool, we signed up for classes all day long, and that was once a week. And then I went out of my way to make friends with parents and set up play dates. And then the one that was monthly, or it was field trips sporadically, 2 or 3 times a month, once a month, whatever. We went to every single thing. We got there early so that we got to know some of the kids before the whole group came. And I just made a really big effort one of our years to really get connected in our new homeschool co-op. What are your kids' goals? Do your kids have goals of their own? Is there something they really want to learn about? Do they already know what they want to be when they graduate? Do they have sports that they really want to focus on, or some sort of different interests? I have a friend whose son is making video games at 15 and he's getting paid for it. So she's able to focus some of her money into courses for him to take during the summer and during the school year to help him really develop his programming and computer programming and game programming skills. So what are your kids' interests? How can you add that into your next homeschool year? Or maybe your kids have too much of something that you don't like. Maybe there's too much screen time going on. How can you tweak that? Or maybe you want them to have more outside time. Think about all these things when you're making a plan for your upcoming homeschool year. Third thing to consider when planning your homeschool year is your children's learning styles. Some kids love workbooks. My daughter does great with bookwork and she doesn't mind it at all. Some kids like videos. They need to watch more videos in order to learn about a topic. Some kids are kinesthetic learners and they need more movement. Maybe they need to jump around in between lessons. What kind of learner is your child? And maybe you can use that to find the right curriculum for them, or at least tailor their schedule and the day according to each child's individual needs. If you are looking for how to choose the right curriculum for your child, make sure you check out the video in the card above, and also check out my playlist where I have tons of curriculum reviews. I will link those both down in the description below. Another thing I like to do every homeschool year is I get an annual calendar. And on this calendar, I go ahead and I write down every major holiday, every day my daughter who's in public school has off. I write down people's birthdays. I write down if the homeschools co-ops have out their schedules. I write down all the field trips. I write down on the side of the calendar all the field trips that I want to take my kids on that are not part of any co-ops, places that we want to visit. Write down any breaks, vacation time. And then you can even look up weird holidays and write those down in your calendar so you can have some fun sprinkled in throughout the year, learning, making, or finding little unit studies on random silly holidays where the kids can actually learn something out of these random holidays. Great resource is UNITSTUDIES.com, where they have sports unit studies, they have holiday unit studies, they have like food unit studies, they have all kinds of unit studies that you can throw in once a month or as often as you like to. I will also link my affiliate link in the description below. The point of that calendar is to make sure that you're adding some variety and fun into your homeschool year. The next thing I like to do and I would like for you guys to consider when planning your homeschool year is different ways to ease your kids into the homeschool day. Maybe it's a morning basket. Maybe it is a read out loud. Maybe it's some educational games or some educational videos in the morning. I call these like warm-ups. So what way can you warm up your kids with a fun yet still educational way to wake up their brains early in the morning, maybe while they're having breakfast or right after breakfast. You can cuddle up on the couch and read a book, or as you're cooking breakfast, they can sit on the couch and watch a documentary, or 20 minutes of Magic School Bus or something, and find a fun way to start every morning. Because I remember waking up every morning, going to a public school, and I remember the routine of watching cartoons every morning, eating a bowl of cereal in front of the TV. Like, what are some memories that you can create for your kids that is a fun way to ease them and wake up their brains before they jump into doing their schoolwork? I find this to makes the school day a lot easier when they have some gentle way to warm up into the day and not just wake up, eat breakfast, start math. My next tip is a big one, guys. I gave this tip out and I totally forgot to do it this homeschool year, and I'm going to suffer I'm paying for it because I have to do this now. But that is prepare your homeschool portfolio in advance. So if you are not going to do annual testing and you are going to do a homeschool portfolio, pick that binder now, get your dividers right now, label them math, language arts, science, and as you start teaching throughout the year, start sticking your favorite things, any tests, any quizzes, any projects, any great writing assignments into that portfolio. The ones you know you want to keep, the ones you want to show to your evaluator, and at the end of the homeschool year, your portfolio is already done. So this is a great tip, and I really wish I had followed my own advice this homeschool year, because now I'm going to be making a video for you on making a homeschool portfolio. Next thing to consider when planning your homeschool year is how many days a week you will teach and how many days a week you will teach each subject. And you want to write that into your plan. So we homeschool 4 days a week because we do a co-op once a week. Some people do 4 days a week and then they do a fun Friday. Some people do 4 days a week and then they do a field trip day. Some people do 5 days a week. So what do you want to do, and what can you do with your curriculum? Does your curriculum allow a 4-day-a-week schedule? The other thing to consider is how many days a week do you want to do each subject? How many science units do you want to get through if you're doing like science units and history units? How many days a week are you going to teach that? And just come up with a general outline schedule, kind of like a rhythm to your day. I have a video on your homeschool rhythm here. So trying to figure out that homeschool rhythm, you'll need to know how many days a week you're going to be teaching and what subjects you're going to teach on those days. Another big tip is to planning your upcoming homeschool year is to find a local convention to go to. This year we have a very local one and within my homeschool co-op that we're going to be having, but we're also every year I go to the one in Orlando, the FPEA convention, and I love to go to that every year by myself without the family because it gives me time to listen to a bunch of speakers. There's always new problems that we're facing every homeschool year. The kids age up, they go to different grades, they go through different developmental stages, and I love to go and listen to speakers about these different topics. I like to take notes, and then I also love to go through the curriculum hall and find a couple new resources that make the year a little bit more exciting for myself and for the kids. So if you're able to make it out to a convention, maybe this year, there should be some over the summer. If there's some place local that you can make it out to, I really would encourage you guys to do that. My last tip is to do not set anything in stone. I just gave you all these tips. I gave you all these tips on like all these things to do, but be flexible because anything could happen. I had no idea we were going to get COVID this past homeschool year, or get sick 1,000 times and catch everything under the sun, every single cold that every child that walked past us we got. You know, I didn't think we were gonna have to be homeschooling the entire summer. There's a lot of things that happen, and so you have to be flexible. Have your plan in mind, but don't get so caught up in your plan that you're not able to move things around and shift things if things need to be changed. So I hope these tips were helpful to you. I wish you the best of luck with planning your upcoming homeschooling year. You can find a video here and also the description below of my favorite planner for homeschooling, and I walk you through that whole process, and that is it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.